Arkansas Razorbacks athletic director Hunter Yurachek has spoken publicly after Madden Iamaleava transferred from Arkansas to join his brother Nico Iamaleava at UCLA. And he's hinting that they are going to fight back on Nico against the Iamaleavas for this decision. Hunter Yurachek sent out a message on Twitter yesterday that said, quote, "I have spoken with the leadership team at Arkansas Edge." For those who don't know, that's the NIL collective at Arkansas. And he said, "and expressed my support in their pursuit to enforce their rights under any agreement violated by our student athletes moving forward. We appreciate Edge's investment in our student athletes and acknowledge the enforcement of these agreements is vital in our new world of college athletics. We look forward to continued dialogue with all parties and resolving these matters." Does that mean Arkansas is suing Madden Iamaleava? Does that mean Madden Iamaleava entered into some sort of deal with Arkansas Edge and by transferring out violated that deal? If that's the case, could Tennessee then sue Nico Iamaleava? Could other schools start suing players who transfer out after they gave them a lot of NIL money? How much does this reset the NIL market if this starts happening? Or is this just because Arkansas and Arkansas Edge had a successful collective and they were upfront and making sure that the language in their contract would make sure it would require players to uphold it to a certain degree? Is this just kudos to Arkansas's NIL collective for signing better contracts? How does this all work? Well, how about this? Bank on it. Brought to you by Commercial Bank, member FDIC, life made better. Bank on it. I think Arkansas is going to massively reset the NIL market following Tennessee resetting the NIL market. I'm not going to say I think. No, just bank on it. Arkansas is going to further reset the NIL market after what Tennessee just did with Nico Iamaleava by implying a threatened lawsuit against players who transfer out, in particular Madden Iamaleava. Bank on it. Arkansas is resetting the NIL market.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Commercial Bank.
Yes, bank on it. The NIL market is being reset by Arkansas suing Madden Iamaleava. We're going to put that up as the poll question now. Should the Vols sue Nico Iamaleava? First, a quick response to the previous poll question. Is the problem with Nico Iamaleava solely due to his father? 13% say yes, but 87% say no, Nico is culpable too. I have to agree with the 87%. So on this one, should the Vols sue Nico Iamaleava? We'll say yes, no, they have no standing, or they have no legal grounds. There we go. So you guys vote on this. Should the Vols sue Nico Iamaleava? Yes, no, they have no legal grounds. We're going to continue with this topic. First portions of the program are brought to you by Hound Dogs of Knoxville. Champions look good in orange. hdknoxville.com. Getting back to it. Should they sue Nico? Again, this depends on the language in the contract, guys. There are reports that Nico Iamaleava was not showing up for certain Spire Sports obligations. At the same time, there are reports that he didn't do some things because he legally didn't have to, and his dad would tell people he legally didn't have to. So you can kind of play this however you want to play it. It's debatable whether or not Nico actually violated any part of his contract. That's still something that we kind of have to figure out. I'm not sure if he did. But with what Arkansas is saying with Madden Iamaleava, if Arkansas sues Madden, that means that Arkansas, that other schools are going to start following suit. Now, there's also just kind of the idea of spirit of the contract. And then there's this other idea of it might go state by state. Guys, contract law is different from state to state on what can and can't be enforced. Okay. This is one of the trickiest parts of any sort of law is how is a contract law enforced? As a matter of fact, contract law and patent law, you ask Supreme Court justices, the most difficult cases they've ever dealt with, they're not going to talk about the hot button ones that everybody thinks about. They don't talk about those at all. They usually have a set judicial philosophy on those. The toughest ones are patent laws and contract laws and who is in violation of them at different times. And they're so complicated. That's a lot of what the Supreme Court does. And it's very hard because every state has their own contract laws. And in many cases, the contract laws are vague. So state Supreme Courts too, for that matter. So this is very interesting in how it could play out. Is Arkansas saying Madden Iamaleava just violated the spirit of the contract and that's enough in Arkansas to sue? Possible. Now, it doesn't matter what's the law in California because this contract was probably signed in Arkansas. So, and the contract was probably the same for Nico Iamaleava in Tennessee. I doubt the contract was signed in California. So it depends on what state the contract is in. And look, I think there's a very, very strong possibility that Arkansas is going to sue. And I think they're trying to help reset the NIL market. They are following suit with what Tennessee did by doing that. And guys, everybody should celebrate on that because I am very much in favor of suing, of players making money in the NIL age. But it's gone way to the other side, and there are now ways that you got to figure out to mitigate it. And people keep talking about a salary cap. You're not going to get a salary cap, even if the players are unionized, because I keep trying to insist this. The bulk of the money for these players isn't coming from the schools paying them. It's coming from endorsement deals they're signing, where schools are giving them, not schools, businesses associated with the school are giving them endorsements. So they'll go to that school. That's how this is working in the NIL age. It's not pay for play. That's what you have to understand. It's not pay for play. And because of that, you can't regulate it, even if the players unionize, even if Congress sets up some guardrails. There is no way you can limit what a player can make on the endorsement market without violating antitrust agreements. You can't. It's literally impossible. So I just think that I think that's the one part where it's going to be hard. However, those businesses that do endorsements can put language in their contract to make sure players have to fulfill obligations, whether or not that's playing for the school for a certain amount of time, doing this, doing that, doing whatever. And that's where all of this changes. So the question is, should the Vols sue Nico Iamaleava? 46% of you are saying yes. 54% of you are saying they have no legal grounds. Guys, let's keep voting on this. I'm really intrigued. The question could be, is there anything in the contract that Tennessee wrote that would allow them to sue? So again, we don't know everything that's in the contract language, but how about just, could the Vols sue him? Could the Vols sue him? I mean, that's very, very, very intriguing. We don't know how it would all work. Put it this way. I'll say this much. As GBMFO says, in front of an Arkansas judge, he's losing. That's true. You get them in front of a certain judge in a state, they could definitely lose just based on the biases of that judge. On top of that, you can send a message just by suing sometimes. Sometimes you can make an impact just by suing, even if you don't have legal grounds. And I think there's going to be more of that in the NIL market going forward. I think this is just the start of what we might be seeing long term, because I think that this would be an incredible story if Tennessee did sue. Because remember this, Tennessee set the trend in opening up the NIL market by saying the NCAA can't get involved. If they set the trend on resetting the NIL market by joining Arkansas in a lawsuit, you're talking all of a sudden about an incredible situation where Tennessee has set every trend in the NIL market possible, and they were the ones that stabilized everything going forward. We'll see how it happens. But honestly, I think there's a great chance that if they do sue, they could send a message. But at the very least, they could start putting certain language in their contracts for people have to honor them. The only question that comes with that is, will the market hurt the schools then? Because will other schools not put that language in the contract? And that's where the kids will go. I mean, that's possible too. So we're going to just have to see how this all plays out.